Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fantasy match preview. And yesterday, there was some inkling of normalcy that came back to the proceedings of the 100. So, we hope that that continues. And let's hear Nikhil Bhai's views on the same.
Rashid Khan took a wicket yesterday. There is no better sign in world cricket than Rashid Khan back to taking wickets. So let's hope that continues and we stay on the right path.
Yes, totally. We have yesterday, in fact, the team that we shared came 38th in the leaderboard contest, 38th or 42nd. I'm forgetting the rank,
Yeah,
but the same team that we shared on YouTube, no change
yeah,
except for the fact that Richardson wasn't playing, so we slotted in Helm over there. So
bilkul.
let's
So
hope
just
we
tells
have
you,
another good one.
yeah. See, the point is we visualize, we share. Rest, it's your call to make rotations or use the same team. But yeah, that's the point. Just to add more value to your sports watching experience also.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll show our base team for today. Today is that sort of game where you're searching and hunting for picks because it's not too straightforward in terms of guys who are actually in form or guys who will actually be able to contribute for you. So we'll discuss our base set first and then we can discuss potential options. So for now
Okay.
we have slotted in Joss Butler in the keeping section and we have gone with two batters in Miller and Duckett. Now, Nikhil bhai, do you add someone like Banton here, or do you feel like his form is erratic for you to add him yet?
Yeah, I feel Banton is more on the riskier side. I think the order is Butler, Salt, and then Tom Banton. What could potentially be a problem for Phil Salt, we discussed this earlier as well, was a left arm threat early.
Hmm.
Now, David Payne can do that, but again, we'll have to be very sure. Like Luke Wood usually does better in first innings, but yesterday he took three in the second innings.
Second
So
innings,
maybe
yeah.
the lesson for us here is back the form guys, back the guys who are bowling well, because right now data is not exactly going to the T. So just back the guys who've looked good to you when they've played. So I think both Josh Butler and Phil Salt, they started really well last game. So if they're batting first, maybe you'll be tempted to drop one of them, but I'll still feel it might be too big a risk to take.
Yes, so for now we'll slot in both of them in our team.
Yeah,
Then in the batting section, you can see we have gone with Miller and Duckett. Again, you
yeah.
see in the Manchester batting section, Stubbs has in one game batted a few balls. Matson, who was batting on top, is suddenly didn't really bat much in the last game, so that makes it confusing on who you really want to pick.
Yeah, I think one thing to keep in mind for this visualization is if you feel Butler and Salt will again come good, then you'll see Madsen push down. But if you feel there will be some one early wicket or two early wickets, then Madsen plays a very
He'll
good
come
role.
up. Hmm.
He'll come up the order. So that is how. So maybe what you can do is if you feel that Butler and Salt will both score, Madsen demote होगा, then take Stubbs. क्योंकि then
Hmm.
उसके बाद promotion Russell का होगा and then Stubbs will come. अगर आपको लगता है कि नहीं विकेट जाएगी तो you can uh, still pick maybe both keepers or take Madsen also into your team and also take Laurie Evans if he bats first.
Yes, you can do that. And even if you want to go one stage riskier, you have the option here to go with just two batters. So then if you
Oh
feel like
yes,
Abbott can slot in and maybe give you
yeah,
15, 20 quick runs or be able to score or get you one or two quick wickets, even that would be helpful for you.
yes.
So not much to discuss in the first two sections. These will be the more elaborate ones with Russell, Pretorius, and Walter currently slotting in. Walter might seem like a surprise to you, but because he's bowling more, that's the reason that we currently have him in our base team. And Nikhil, bhai, do you feel like you can fit in Abbott? Not, I know his form has not been great, but you already see that there's a great shortage of options in this game. So in that scenario, do you feel he makes a better pick, or would you still go with someone like Hartley because there's a host of right-handers too?
Yeah, I think Hartley will be in the side again because you see even the last game when they were losing,
Hmm.
they still bowled Hartley enough. So it tells you that they're happy to give him more sets. What
Hmm.
are the potential options then is again it'll have to come from the बैटिंग सेक्शन क्योंकि ऑल राउंडर्स में उतने ज़्यादा ऑप्शंस सेफ ऑप्शंस नहीं है तो बैटिंग में भी सेफ ऑप्शन वैसे खास है नहीं बट
Hmm.
जस्ट टू शेयर लाइट ऑन सी समझ लगा जोक लाख he
Hmm.
will have one crazy day. We don't know when, but he will have that one crazy day because he has them regularly in the blast. And
Right.
Sam Hain could be a very interesting pick. Now,
Hmm.
he's had issues versus spin. and Parkinson has got him out many times. तो अगर आपको लगता है कि he'll come in and they'll directly bowl Parkinson and hardly hit him, so you can pick him, not pick him. But if you feel कि no, he'll be able to see them off or give you a good score, तो आई थिंक यू कैन टेक सैमन. तो ये सब डिफरेंशियल ऑप्शन हो जाएंगे आपके पास. शॉन अबाउट इज अ सेफेस्ट ऑलराउंडर ऑप्शन, बट अगेन फॉर्म का वी आर नॉट वेरी कॉन्फिडेंट विद शॉन अबाउट, बट पहले बॉलिंग करते तो यू कैन स्टिल ट्राई.
Yeah, and in the similar way, if Welsh is bowling first, you can also go with someone like David Payne or Jake Ball. We saw Jake Ball, in fact, didn't have the most economical figures, yet he went out and bowled the last 10 balls of that last game. So maybe the team management is considering him an important cog. So,
या
yes, one of Jake Ball, or like Nikhil Bhai mentioned, you can go with someone like Sam Hain if you feel like he can play out spin well.
बिल्कुल.
So that is what the team makeup for us looks like for now. Apart from that, captaincy and vice captaincy choices. Now we know that Andre Russell takes a lot of wickets in first innings death, but he's not looked in any great touch either with bat or ball till now. So in that scenario, does someone like Pretorius come in for you, or even he didn't really bowl his full set in the last game? So how do you approach that part of it?
I think if they bat first, I'll be still very tempted to at least have Josh Butler as my captain or vice captain, particularly because he's always liked this venue and he's
Hmm.
getting starts. So, and today maybe if Salt can do that heavy lifting just before Josh takes off, I think Josh could really play a long knock. But again, so he'll still remain a very popular choice. That is Josh Butler. With Russell, yeah, it's tricky there. Once he starts taking wickets, he doesn't stop. So, but as we always say, maybe while batting first, you can always take a risk by not
Hmm.
making him your captain and vice captain. क्योंकि प्रमोट भी होता है, ज़्यादा रन नहीं मारते तो इट डजंट कॉस्ट यू मच. बट अगर
Hmm.
पहले बॉलिंग होती है एंड यू सी के ऑप्शंस कम है अगर, तो आई थिंक
Then you
रसल
have
मेक्स अ
to.
गुड
Hmm.
चॉइस. और आई थिंक वेन्यू भी इंपॉर्टेंट है यहाँ पे. मैनचेस्टर में वी सीन स्पिन वर्क.
Yes,
So
even in the blast. Hmm.
even in the blast, so you could, and it's a very big call, but you could go with something like a Parkinson if you are confident. Now see, Parkinson is a slow left arm bowler, very slow, literally very slow. So you have to be very sure कि उसको कोई धोएगा नहीं सामने. So that is the caveat that you have to work with कि अगर उसके साथ जा रहे हो तो it's very very risky. पर maybe that is your vice captain choice for you कि आप बटलर को कैप्टन बना के या तो रसल को बनाओ या पार्किंसन को बनाओ या इवन हार्टली को बनाओ, तो you will have plenty of options. Dwayne Peters is also, while bowling first, becomes a handy option to try.
Right, fair enough. So I guess for now we'll go with the safer choices in Butler and Russell. Maybe we can update them once we have more information in
हाँ,
terms of the toss, the pitch,
yeah,
all of that will be more helpful to take a final call in that regard.
बिल्कुल. And just watch the women's game as well. Try and get any cue that you can कि अगर सेम पिच है या सिमिलर पिच है तो क्या पॉसिबल, what are the possibilities of having a similar kind of conditions for the second game. It could easily not be the same, but whatever we can get is an added advantage.
Yes, and this is like Nikhil Bhai saying that here spinners can play a key role. Not the pitch is one reason, the other reason is also the ground dimension. So we are seeing a lot of 60-meter boundaries in the 100, but this will not be the case here, except for one side being 65. You see that all across it's 70s and 70 plus. One long corner is 85. So you may see a lot of spinners bowling from this end and that one when the lefty or the righty are on strike. So Parkinson will try to make as much use of this boundary.
Yes, I think we could potentially see a low scoring game as well. Depends entirely on the deck that is used. Because there was a game few days back. तो अगर सेम स्ट्रिप पे खेल रहे हैं तो यू कैन कंसिडर द स्लोअर bowlers, the cutters guys into your side. And if it's a fresh pitch, then you can pack your side with more batters who are in form ताकि you are covered from more angles. फिर
Yeah.
फिर एबट को भी ले सकते हैं. एक्चुअली एबट कुड बी अ ग्रेट पिक इफ देर इज सम होल्ड, क्योंकि देन ही बिकम्स अ कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट बॉलर. एंड यू नो वो भी ऐसा बॉलर है, व्हेन ही टेक्स विकेट्स ही विल टेक देम इन बंचेस. So then he also becomes a very handy option to try out, even more than Russell if he bowls in the last set.
Yes, absolutely. And there is some conjecture in terms of whether Abbott will be available or not today. So we don't have any official confirmation in terms of that. So yes, we are assuming that he's available and hence we are discussing him. But in case he's not available and we have any last minute information on the other option, we'll inform you about the same on Twitter. So don't worry about that.
Yeah,
So that is the ground dimensions, and interestingly, yes, this ground is the home to many of the guys that we discussed:
yeah.
Butler, Salt, Parkinson. So many of these guys have played a lot of cricket here, so they will know the pitch better, and they will also that will also mean that they become favorable choices for you in your leaderboard contests.
Bilkul. Good game for Grand League again. Very tricky for Small League. I think this tournament is just continuing to tell you how it's not always going to be rosy, and because streams are. So just to discuss one point that happened yesterday, like I was very surprised to see Hammond open, but
Hmm.
maybe they wanted to shield Will Smith from the left arm threat that we talked about. Okay, but he eventually did get out to left arm. So these are the things we'll have to try and find logic into what they are doing and why they are doing. But from now, I think most teams will start having replacements coming in as well. तो उस पे भी
Hmm.
आई रखना जरूरी हो जाएगा. I think Naren is gone off from this tournament, so that is also an important thing to note. Teams, again, if Sean About doesn't play, whoever plays, what is their role? Will that make somebody else bowl the last set? All of that has to be considered, and then you can make better options.
Absolutely. And the leaderboard contest currently is running hot. We are reaching halfway stage
Hmm.
and some interesting stuff to share with you. So if you see this team yesterday, I honestly did not really edit it much after we discussed it here, except for the last change. But if you see, there's a set of batters here that did not get any sort of score. So you can imagine that even if we were able to filter out one of those batters, this would have been a top 10 rank if you took anyone like a Gregory, or even if Sumit got 20 points more than these guys. So this should tell you that the amount of competition is really less if with these three batters you were still able to sail into the top 50 of the leaderboard. Obviously the captain vice captain was correct, but still it
Yeah.
means that even if your combination is not 11 out of 11 perfect, you still have a chance of cracking it. So you should join this one, and you can see this is the other contest that I always join.
Yes, and again, one great thing to add here with the captain vice captain, this is the risk that you run if you don't make a common guy captain vice captain. Now, yesterday, Monelli, you will say could have been out any time before he
Hmm.
accelerated. So that is always going to be part of the game, and that is why we usually stick with a safer combination in the videos as well, because if he's not dropped or if we know how the catching has been, अगर उसको chance मिलते हैं and he scores a 50, he takes one wicket also, he's going to give 75 80 points and you're going to be back by that many. So then it becomes really hard to catch up in a tournament like this जहाँ पे there are a select guys doing select primary roles. तो which is why we लिविंगस्टन भी आप देखो easy 50 मार के गए once मोनली got out. तो that is the risk that you take कि अगर कॉमन बंदे को नहीं बनाया, so that is how far you fall. बट अगर कॉमन को बनाया और प्लेयर नहीं चले फिर भी आप कितने ऊपर हो. So
Hmm.
there are various factors, but I'll just reiterate the point. Do not always judge a team by the result. It has to be judged by what happened in the game.
Yes, absolutely. So if like he's mentioning that drop catch, Malan didn't see the ball at all. He didn't even attempt it. So yes, if Gregory would have taken that one, it could have been a different story.
Yeah.
And happy to take all your questions. So
Yes.
please feel free to put them in the comment section, and I feel Hayne is a decent choice as he was very consistent in the
Yeah.
blast. So yes, we see that with Hayne year after year. He's actually a really consistent batter, technically much tighter, and does not have too many experiments. But as one observation from me in the last game was that I don't know if this is what the team management has told him or something of that sort, but he was going quite hard in comparison to what you would normally see Sam Hain go. He's a typical 120, 125 batter, but he was trying to go at 140, 150 in that last game. So I don't know if he's actually assigned that role.
Yeah. But I think we
Both,
did discuss about him in detail as well, right? What are his
yes.
possible threats and where he can potentially come up and still come good.
Are you dropping any spinner at Manchester?
uh, See, you always can. There is nobody stopping you. But the thing with spin is when it works crazy. And we've said this for Shamshi, we've said this for Rashid for Chahal, for every good leg spinner. If they get one in the first 5 to 6 balls, they are a completely different beast. They'll go on a rampage and take 2 3. So maybe based on your visualization, maybe you can drop one. Like if you feel कि first innings में Parkinson may not do much, but second में ही में, तो फिर second innings अगर वो second bowling करे तो उन्हें लो. As same is the case with Zampa. If you feel first innings में Zampa might not play a bigger role, actually in Old Trafford, spinners play a bigger role in first innings.
Hmm.
So again, it's a completely different type of approach to have. You can keep both, you can drop both as well. It completely depends on how comfortable you are with the other options, क्योंकि जो दूसरे ऑप्शन है वो इतने क्वालिटी के नहीं है या फॉर्म के नहीं है या कॉन्फिडेंस के नहीं. तो अगर आप इनके साथ कॉन्फिडेंट नहीं हो, यू कैन गो विद देम.
Fair enough. Um, okay, we have a man who's seen cricket for more than 15 to 20 years, so he'll be able to answer this very well.
See, it is, the bottom line is it's approved, and that's what matters. So it can look however it is, but I would not question science. That's all that I'll say. बाकी फिर तो देखो, everybody is always free to have their own opinion and own thought. But yeah, what you one thing I'll definitely will say is whatever Stoinis did was not good. It's not do that. It's not good to do it on camera for sure.
Yeah, and I think they have some BBL history too from the past. Sean Abbott is unavailable
Okay.
for today. Okay, so if he isn't, then yeah, fair enough. So then
Yeah.
we have already discussed a plethora of other options, and
Mm.
especially someone like Tom Hartley can easily slot in with the fact that we
Yeah.
are considering spin to be important here.
Yeah. Again, what could also be interesting to see is if this makes Russell bowl more.
Hmm.
That is
Very
something to
possible.
figure.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe they might want to use him at the end set. Who knows? So very good thing to see the number of options that they have, and then maybe you can take a call. कि हाँ ये होगा, हाँ ये नहीं होगा.
Yeah, and maybe someone like Turner can also come in today because we are talking so much about spin. Again, I don't know if he's also available, not sure in terms of availability, but if he's available and on such a pitch, he might have some effect.
Because so if you take out Sean Abbott, the people who have played the game so far, Fred Klassen has played, Parkinson has played, Tom Hartley, these three bowlers. Then you have Sean Abbott is not there. So Russell and Paul Walter. If I'm not counting, I don't see any other bowler who's played. So you can correct me if I'm wrong somewhere. But from the guys who've played, these are the only five options now. So then I think Russell becomes a very big player for the game for the day. And but unless Richard Gleeson is fit, I don't know if we have an official update anywhere about his fitness.
Not
Because if
yet.
then he plays, he directly swaps in, bowls the tough overs, and then he could be a very good Grand League captain as well for you. If you feel that originals will, but whatever originals do, but if he's going to take wickets, then he becomes a very good option to try.
Yeah, and today is also the sort of day where all the keepers seem tempting, especially because if we are actually backing the fact that the Pacers are going to fail, all these keepers are going to open the batting, so they can actually come off.
Bilkul. Yes.
What about Tristan Stubbs? Your thoughts? So we discussed this already. We feel like if Salt and Butler will set in well, then Stubbs should get promoted. But on the other end, if there is a collapse in the batting, and if Wayne Madsen comes in earlier and sets in, then maybe Stubbs' role gets slightly
Yeah.
reduced in that scenario.
I think what the one way to look at Tristan Stubbs right now will be he would be a great support player for your team,
Hmm.
because he's going to play a very risky game. He's going to come in and look to attack and look to score big and score very quickly. So, like he did with Shamsi, he could hit 30 in 10 balls and then get out, and you should be fine with that. And even if he gets out first ball trying to do that, you should be fine with that. So, I think that is the risk that you will run with him. But I think potentially it's a very good option to try out while batting first. I feel definitely, because there you are still more confident कि जो भी situation हो, if they want quick runs, they'll send him. So maybe that is how you might want to think about Stubbs. I am not sure how much they'll use him with the ball. Last game they did, but weekend milegi kya, I'm not really sure of. Everybody's not as kind as Kohli to get out to Tristan Stubbs.
Yeah, and he's more just like a fill-in option, so you
Yeah,
can't really rely on that.
yeah. but a good option to try. Maybe too risky to try as vice captain or somebody else as well. Because role, it's a very specific role to do.
It's a role that will give you a lot of match time impact, but don't know about
हाँ,
fantasy value impact. He'll have an
हाँ,
impact for his own team, but will he have
बिल्कुल
it for
बिल्कुल.
your team is the real question.
हाँ. But yeah, back your visualization जैसे we discussed, runs, quick runs, platform मिल गया तो he could be lethal. He could score a 80 also. But नहीं मिला, बैटिंग ही नहीं आई, थोड़ी बैटिंग आई तो फिर how valuable that is a call that you can take.
No wickets coming in death overs as you've seen till now. It is safe to go with Russell as captain or vice captain if he bowls first. So we just feel like the coin will turn somewhere, right? There will be a point where wickets will fall in the death. And we have seen that with many teams, their bottom order or their finishing order or their batting is not that strong. And those wickets have at many times I would say not been falling not because the shots have been great, but because they've not the ball has not even been going the aerial route. It's been ones and twos in the death over. So that's not something you regularly see. So we
Yeah.
feel like it should turn a coin somewhere.
या देखो जो गेम इतने सालों से एक तरीके से चलते आ रहा है, अगर वो अचानक से इतना चेंज हो जाएगा तो इट्स गोइंग टू बी टफ फॉर एवरीबॉडी टू अडेप्ट. तो अगेन गोइंग बैक, सी इफ यू आर वेरी श्योर कि नहीं गिरेंगे, चीजें वैसे ही रहेंगी, यू कैन गो विद सम अदर ऑप्शन. बट इस गेम में अदर ऑप्शन सब ट्रिकी है. They are all very
Hmm.
conditional picks of sort. Unless I think Josh Butler is probably the safest guy to try out in terms of the every other guy is going to play the game. और पर उस पे भी आपको रिस्क पता है कि if he takes off before Phil Salt and takes the aggressive route, he could get out early, which is he has been getting out after a 25-30. तो बिल्कुल आपका कॉल है. अगर आपको लगता है कि डेथ में विकेट्स नहीं गिरेंगे, you could back somebody else, back two batters, even that might work out for you.
Yes, and like he mentioned, even Laurie Evans, if you feel like wickets are not going to fall at the death, he can also give you a strong finish.
He gave a very good 26 of 11. One of my favorite players to try. He Najibullah Zadran again yesterday. Great batting.
Uh, Thank you. We hope it's helping you. So that's all we can say. I don't know about the luck of us being live and that getting you any sort of result, but till it's helping and till you're able to use our feedback, that is more than important to us.
Because sir, even if it doesn't work today or in the next game or in 1 week, if you whatever you heard and you can apply it in some way or the other and make some money in the next tournament or next year or in a grand league next decade, it's still good for us because we're adding something to you. That's the only purpose of the videos, to share information with you guys.
Yes. So much spin to start in women. So yes, we already mentioned that big ground dimensions, and this pitch is generally conducive to spin. So if you're keeping a close eye on the women's game, then you should be able to get some feedback, especially if the pitch that's going to be used is the same. So if you're 100% sure about that, then it's a very good benchmark for you to set your night team.
Yeah, and it could be trust the 100 to be completely opposite. Huh? Women's game might be 100 runs and men's game might be 200 versus 200. It is that kind of a year.
Great, then I guess we have all the questions in. We have 15-20 seconds
Yeah,
more. If you want to add in a question, we'll be happy to answer. And for all of you that have tuned in, if you're finding this helpful and you're finding it informative, please go share it with people. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and leave
yeah,
loads of comments and feedback. Even if you want us to introduce something different or inform you guys
yeah.
about other stuff that we haven't already, always happy to add in stuff there. And remember to smash the like button like always.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. Please always welcome to hear constructive feedback. Thank you.
Anyway, great. So I guess we have all the questions in then. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And we hope we can keep helping and we can keep entertaining in some way or the other.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Happy winnings. That was important.
Thank you.